Gen X grew up on late-night warnings.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Scared, straight.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And were inspired by movies that defined a generation.
We were all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
I feel the need for speed.
We found our attitude in comedy.
I'm Gumby, damn it.
You see that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no dice.
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
And our identity in pop culture.
I want my MTV!
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV!
What you talking about, Willis?
Keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
This is Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhide.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
All right, don't miss this. We're back. Gen X Men, Bill Rowland here, Gary Dollarhide there. Recording this early in the morning. So we're both maybe a little puffy-eyed, perhaps, but a little early in the morning. So, again, thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. While you're thinking about it, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll get it out of the way. So, another vestige of our youth is officially gone.
Are we going to play the funeral music?
I mean, we should. As we say all the time, you get to a certain age, you're going to more funerals than you're going to weddings. And this is another one. I think one of the first episodes we ever did, and we're coming up on 1 year, by the way, was about the death of AOL.
Yes.
Right? That was one of the first ones. Well, here's another one. And everybody of our generation will remember this. Columbia House.
Of course.
Your tapes, your vinyl, your 8-tracks from back in the 70s. Your parents might have been doing it. And then, of course, we all had the get 10 records and tapes or 12 CDs for a penny. They are ending their business as of September of this year.
Finally. It's almost like the 98-year-old and the family's just hanging on and you know, from looking at the historical records of Columbia House, and finally someone said, nope, we are done. This, just put the pillow over it. We're good here. This is over.
Well, apparently, I mean, I didn't realize, and again, I wasn't looking into the history of Columbia House when I was a kid and doing this stuff. It had been around since 1955.
Yeah, that's what shocked me. I was not aware.
Yeah, 71 years old. I just remember in all the newspapers, they would have the ads of, oh, look at all the records and tapes and, 8-tracks or whatever you can get. You could choose from all of these and get, 10 of them for $1 or whatever it was. And then they moved to 12 for a penny. Apparently, I would have thought, because, look, we were probably doing it in the 80s when we were kids, like talking our parents into doing it. I would have thought that was the heyday, the 70s and 80s. Apparently, they peaked in the 90s at over like $1.6 billion in the 90s as their high watermark. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think part of that was, so for us in the 80s, it was, like you said, the cassettes, the 8-tracks, right? And then all of a sudden the CDs invented.
Yep.
So everyone's got to go through this wave of updating their musical collection into the CD market. And so that just provided the opportunity where people said, hey, I've got to replace this, got to have that. And, so they were in the mix for that switch over, which kind of gave them that big pop in revenue.
All right.
Yeah. I just heard something over there. Something beeped, scared me. So
that's what I was hoping that it wasn't anything that you had to go run and take care of or something.
Yeah. You always, yes, we are in a 40-foot park model, and you always worry about that LP gas detector. Like, we don't have a leak, do we?
Well, that's what I was like. Well, I'm thinking you're an EMT, so I'm like, I hope that wasn't like you being called out to, go on a run or something.
Yeah, no, fortunately, no, I work at the station, so no come from home business for me.
All right, well, that's good.
All right,
that's good. All right, here's what I want you to see. Okay. This is what, for people, and this is going to bring back memories for people. This is probably 70s because it's a lot of 8 tracks. But there you go.
Ooh, look at that.
Any 7 records or tapes for only a penny. So there's one of their ads with the little card up in the top right corner where it you fill out that card and send it back. But those are all 8-track tapes. Those are 8 tracks.
That's how I got pulled in. This would have been the 80s from the Sunday paper, Parade magazine.
Yep.
It was usually on the back of that. And you would see the titles, and it was, it'd be fun to have that. Because you got to look at it from my perspective. We lived in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was an hour to get to any sort of music store if you wanted something. And my parents were less musical than most people. So for me, that was the easy way to get my hands on things, especially, in the time frame we're talking about, like the mid 80s, when it's like, oh, I have to have that and I want to listen to that. I was still getting cassettes though in the mid 80s, right?
Of course.
But you would see the titles and you'd start going, I want that one. And then this was the difficult part, picking those 12, because are you buying something with a few songs, or are you going, well, they have one song I like, but I don't know about the rest of the album. So do you want to burn one of your 12 slots for an album that you may not end up liking because it's the one-hit wonder or, just the one song?
That's a great point. Look at the albums there. That's Neil Diamond. I see, is that Barry Manilow second? And then I believe that's Crystal Gale is the third one there of the albums that she's holding.
Now I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe I would have gotten any of those. I don't think.
Look, I was able to just enlarge it. Look, Roger Williams' Evergreen is the second 8-track in the first column.
Okay.
Statler Brothers, The Letterman. Oh, there's Thin Lizzy.
Yeah,
Kenny Rogers.
Peter for Annie, the original cast, is on here as well.
Oh, here's a classic. Liberace's Greatest Hits, third column, about 7 or 8
I see
down.
that. Yeah, I see that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Osmonds Greatest Hits.
You know what? The Osmonds, first ever concert that I went to.
Really?
When I was like 5. Yeah. I went to see the Osmonds at the old Capitol Center.
Did you get the t-shirt?
I did not get a t-shirt when I was 5. I do, and I think I've told this story on here before. I do remember that we were where our seats were, because again, Capitol Center was like anything else, is round. Yeah. The seating bowl was an oval. We were sitting kind of not behind the stage, but to the side, so you could see behind the stage and everything. And of course, this is the 70s, so costume changes galore for the Osmonds. I mean, they're going to come out and all sorts of different things. Well, the guys would come back and then run down the stairs, because you could see it in the back, and I guess probably changed underneath the stage or whatever. Poor Marie just had like a box curtain thing set up. So she would literally run off stage, run between the curtains, and then have to run back. Like, she didn't get her own little section. She was just kind of there. I mean, you couldn't see anything, but I just remember thinking, well, why doesn't she get to go down? Because I thought they were going down and into a dressing room or something, but clearly they were just going down underneath the stage and everything was hung up. Whatever. Now as you think about it later, when you're 5, you're not thinking about that. And I was just like, they just make her get dressed behind a curtain. That doesn't seem right. I was like, that just seems weird. But yeah, that was the first concert that I ever went to. Was the Osmonds at the old Cap Center. The Osmonds. Let me see what else in there. Best of Rod Stewart is on there.
See the Rocky soundtrack.
All the way on the right, about halfway down. Burt Bacharach's Greatest Hits. I'm not sure it gets better than that. It's in red, all the way on the right.
Okay, yep. Star Wars soundtrack. Charlie, the Captain that's up top.
Captain
Tennille. Neil.
I don't know. I don't know if I could pick 12 from here because I don't think I would get to 12. I think I'd
Aerosmith Toys in the Attic. How about
that? On 8-track.
On 8-track.
Which is amazing. I'm assuming that's what that is.
Yeah, no, those are 8 tracks.
Oh, and so you got to look at the fine print there, Gary, up at the top.
Yeah.
Where it says deluxe 2-record set or twin pack tapes count as 2 selections.
Oh, no.
Right in both numbers. So, yeah, Columbia House. And I also remember with this that it was always upsetting if you didn't have the selection that you wanted. They like for some reason that artist wasn't with Columbia. Like they didn't have everybody.
Correct, because there was a rival BMG and something else that were also kind of doing their thing. So if your artist was signed to a different distribution, different label, oh well.
Right. So that was always the thing. We're like, well, where's this? Why isn't this album on here? Like, why can't I get that album? And then it would never be there. It's always disappointing.
Well, the big thing that happened in my house, and I remember, again, because my parents aren't necessarily musically as hip as others, right? So they were kind of like, if you're going to do it, I would always fail to return the card.
Oh, of the I'm canceling? Yeah.
Well, no, I don't want this selection, right? There was the whole thing that you had to buy whatever it was, 4 or 5 at regular club prices,
right,
to fulfill your obligation. But they called it, I think it was like a negative return. So they would send you did they send you the CD? I'm kind of phasing out.
Yes.
So they would send you that month selection.
The selection of the month. And if you didn't send it back and say, I don't want this, then
they wanted to be paid for it. So I'd always forget and and it was sometimes, just kind of half-ass albums or something. And they're piling up and, me in the post office I remember my mother just being so mad, like, because they were helping, right? We hadn't quite started the jobs yet in the mid 80s.
Right.
And so they were, reluctantly being a part of this financially, and here it is, these CDs are stacking up, or I'd forget and they get buried under something, and all of a sudden we're getting another bill you haven't paid for, whatever selection. It's just like, oh man.
Yep, that was this. Yeah, you got 12 for like a penny for the CDs, or that we just saw 7 for whatever it was. But then you'd have to buy 3 or 4 more at the regular price within a certain amount of time.
Yes.
So
these were within a year.
Yeah, maybe. But you'd always have to be careful because they'd send you the card that says, do you want this month's selection or whatever? And you needed to check it off. Now I'm sure it'd be some email or whatever you would need to do. But that was the thing is how many parents back then not even say lawsuits, but, would write to Columbia House and say, my child is not eligible to enter into a binding contract. We are not paying for this. How often do you think that happened with Columbia House?
A lot. Well, and when we were talking about this, I looked it up. Some guy, and I don't understand the finances behind it, was using like 20 some addresses.
Jeez.
Right? Because if you think about it, tracking you down back then, right? It was kind of like, it was almost an honor system in a will, if you will. We're going to send you the 12 and you're going to agree to buy more.
Yep.
And so supposedly he was using restaurants and just kind of people he knew and using a fake name. So he was loading up on the 12 for a penny, and supposedly he ended up with like 20 some thousand CDs.
Good Lord.
Right? Just loading up, like, send me the 12, send me the 12. And obviously, he doesn't exist. So I imagine that's how they got themselves into a bind for a while of, like you said, is it my dog? Is it Trooper Dollar Height getting the 12 CDs?
Right.
And like you said, it's a dog. He couldn't have entered this contract with you. So sorry.
Right. I'm not sure how Trooper selected his 12 CDs to pick, but that's another story for another time, I guess. I don't know.
He's good with his right paw. He's really good.
What would the music selections be?
That's a good question. We're talking back then. I mean, he's a little bit of a he's a hard rocker because he
All right.
loves, he's got the full energy on, loves sticking his head out the door when we're going down the road in the Jeep. And so, yeah, I imagine he's more of a rock star
There you
dog,
go.
if anything.
There you go. Now, when you did those, did your parents ever look at the selections and be like, "No, you're not getting that one. We're not
No.
letting you buy that one."
Not involved.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, unlike movie watching at the time, yeah, music, it was just, I think they went with if it's on the radio, it's probably okay. So,
Well, I mean, it's a fair argument, probably.
yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean-
Of course, and just a preview for people out there, we are going to do a show on the lyrics of
Yes.
that one's forthcoming of, oh, that's really what that song said. That's really what that's about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's coming.
Yeah. And there are some. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. There are some that I still look at it and go, "Wow, what was that going on?" That kind of thing.
Someone put pen to paper to come up with that lyric.
Well, right. Like, how did you come up with this scenario? Is more the other one. Like, how did this happen? So that's where you go, I'm not sure this is the best idea, but yeah, well, we can. I'm sure everybody there are plenty of them that you can look at and go, oh, I know exactly some of the songs that they'll be talking about, which is fine because they're the obvious ones. And then there's some that you're like, I never really thought about that one. And then when you see the videos, it's even more of, boy, I really hadn't thought about that one. So yeah, we can get into that. So other musical stuff that's kind of on the radar for Gen X people. 39 years ago, Gary, did you have this album right there? That one.
Yeah. Yes,
Was
I did.
that in your rotation?
It was.
All
That's
right.
a classic.
Debbie Gibson, Out of the Blue, came out this week in 1987.
She was our Taylor Swift, right? Because for those who don't know, she completely wrote, performed the whole 9 yards of that album all by herself at 16.
Yeah.
Well, not all by herself, but she
She wrote the lyrics, she wrote the music, all that. Yeah. Yep.
And
So
supposedly, I think that was the first time. What was the song? I'm going through the Foolish Beat. Hit number one. It was the first time someone did all three things, like wrote it, produced it, sang it, and
okay.
Yeah, that's kind of
didn't know that trivia. She is still touring.
Mm-hmm.
She just did she was here, I think last year, maybe. And still looks really good. I mean, she's literally our age. She's in mid-50s. Yeah. Still looks great. Still sounds great because I've seen clips from the tour. So I mean, good for her. Still, I think she goes by Deborah now because she's.
Yes, I remember when she switched to that.
Yes.
To polish the image to be a little bit more mature in her presentation.
Right. But I mean, again, if you were 16, 15, if you were a high school kid back when this came out, there was always the big thing, and I never understood it because she was way more talented, and I thought also better looking. The rivalry, of course, was with Tiffany.
Yep.
And I never got it because she was way better and way more successful than Tiffany ever was.
Yes.
I think. I mean.
Well, and I agree. I just, probably somewhere it was engineered, maybe between the labels, right? Because that's how we get promotion. That's how we create the buzz back then. So yeah, you push this rivalry, and it's like, oh, are you Tiffany or are you Debbie? Similar to, but a little bit different. The old days. Are you Gilligan's Island? Are you?
Oh yeah. Ginger or Marianne?
Are you Ginger or Marianne? So that's always a thing, and I think that just helps, especially in the music business. Probably propped them both up in terms of, who do you like better? Or in my day, I don't know about you, you had the denim jacket and you wore band buttons.
Oh, I was never had a denim jacket. So good for that. And no, never had band buttons at all.
But I never had Debbie Gibson or anything. It was always, the metal buttons.
Right, it'd be like Slayer or
Exactly.
I my friends that had the denim jackets. I was never cool enough to have a denim jacket, so
you should get one, Bill.
I should now. I want to say Carrie has one, and I laugh every time she wears it because I do that line from I think it's from Old School, where if you remember Old School, where the Owen Wilson's love interest.
Yes.
He talks about her wearing the denim jacket in high school and says it was pretty intimidating. So I say that all the time when she puts the denim jacket. I was like, well, you're really intimidating right now. And she's like, what? I'm like, you got to see the movie again.
Well, as I say, here in Maine, we're starting to have the cool mornings and evenings. Maybe I have one.
There you go.
It may be time to pull that out because that's that good fall weight jacket where it's not too heavy, but not too light. So
I will. I'll have to see if I can track down some band buttons and send them to you. You can load up your denim jacket with the band buttons.
eBay and Etsy. I'll spend my time there. And oh boy, I can't imagine being a 55-year-old man with a denim jacket walking with my band buttons on.
It would be so good. I would be so happy if you came on the podcast and had the denim jacket with the big Slayer button or whatever. Whoever. I don't know if you were a Slayer guy or not, but. I don't know why. For some reason, I just picture it being Slayer buttons. I don't know why.
There was Slayer, Motley Crue. Yep. Iron Maiden. Yep.
That's so funny. I had forgotten about. Again, I wasn't one of those guys. I was I freely admit I was a top 40 guy. So I loved Debbie Gibson and all that kind of stuff. Huey Lewis, all those type of things. I loved top 40 stuff. I didn't get into the hard rock. Or even like the classic rock, if you will, until probably when I got into college, and then I did. But no, when I was a young kid and a teenager, it was all about the top 40 stuff. I wasn't listening to Zeppelin. I wasn't listening to Deep Purple. I had a bunch of Beatles albums again because it was top 40, that kind of stuff. So I never had the jacket with the band buttons. Quite frankly, I didn't understand it. I didn't get the idea. Well, I didn't get the idea of like wearing the buttons like that. It just didn't dawn on me to do that.
It's flair, Bill. It's flair.
Well, I know it's flair, but I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I couldn't imagine, like even in college on your backpack, because then it wasn't jackets. Everybody put the buttons on the straps of their backpack.
Yeah.
And I think the only time I had them was like if you had sorority friends, they're like, hey, will you put the button on your back? Yeah, sure. So I had like 2 or 3 different sorority buttons on it, and then a teak one. And other than that, I was like, I don't need to put like band stuff on the backpack strap. It's the only time I had it. So I don't know.
Well, no, it's a wonderful discussion because sitting here, like I said, as a nearly 55-year-old man, I'd be like, why would I do that? I barely want any I mean, I've got one here on this sweatshirt. Can't help it. But I really don't logos. I don't know bumper stickers. I look at it now as you don't need to know that much about me. Like I'm not about like peacocking what I like and so it's funny to go, so why did we do that? Because everyone was doing it. I don't know. Right. I mean, the denim jacket, that was the world.
Thing. Right.
I don't even know if it was fashion. It was just we wore denim jackets, right? But then loading it up with the band buttons and saying buttons and stuff, I remember I go, why?
All right, did you have and we can pull Debbie down off now. I'm sorry. Did you have the kids that would have the denim jackets and then do their own artwork on the back of the denim jacket, or some of them would even like safety pin like cloth, I want to say not even like t-shirts, but just like cloth pictures or whatever on the back? Did you have those guys?
There was one kid, he was artsy, right? So that's what he did. He did a whole brush thing on his jacket and a couple different ones. I will say mine took it out back with Dad and took the 12 gauge to it. So with the bird shot, you ended up with hundreds of these little, I guess were sprouts, right? So instead of being slashed or anything, you just had all these little feathery holes all over it just to give it some texture and a different look. So I will admit that we did that.
That's hysterical that you went back and shot your jacket.
We did. Yep.
That's so good.
Took about 5 or 6 rounds because you'd shoot the front, shoot the back, each side, and then one more for good measure. So yeah, that was a thing. That's how I, customized my jacket.
Now, did you shoot it yourself or did your dad do it?
Both of us, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm sure for my father that did not go down in the, in terms of fishing, hunting, all the things that a father and son can do. I don't think shooting
the denim jacket,
the denim jacket ranked up there, but good old dad, he did it.
What did you like when you said, "Hey, I want to do this"? Was he like, "Oh, all right, I guess"?
If I had to guess now, because I can't remember the exact conversation, my father had been you want to do what? Okay, all right. My dad would have been okay, I guess we'll do it as long as you're not, doing drugs and robbing banks. I guess this is fine.
I guess, yeah, there is that. There is the whole, well, what if we did this instead?
Yeah.
Instead of all these other things. All right, it's not a great example, but it's the only one I could pull in like 30 seconds. So this is what I'm talking about. That kind of thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's more modern, but that's what I mean. Where they were doing their own artwork on the back.
Yeah, like you said, the one kid I remember, he was an excellent artist, right? He could draw, and he had done something like that. It was it was Rat, though. I remember it was Rat that he had done, the band. Kind of redid the cover on the back, but again, he did it himself with paints and stuff. So, it's impressive artwork to me now, because I'd be like, oh man, that'd be cool to have framed because you did it, pass it along, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. It wasn't, and sometimes though they would cut out again from other. I don't know if it was T-shirts or wherever else, because I remember they would safety pin this stuff on rather than doing it right on the denim, and that was kind of a big thing as well. But it was. I mean, again, I was always impressed because I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, so those guys that could do all the other stuff was impressive.
Yeah. And I remember there were girls took markers, Sharpies, and did like the cuffs and other little designs on the side. Again, customizing to whatever they wanted. I just shot mine with a gun. So I don't
Which again, I think is way more impressive that you're just like, I got an idea. Let's just put buckshot or birdshot or whatever right through my denim jacket.
Yeah. Didn't do it to the jeans, the pants, but did it to the denim jacket.
I never understood the whole thing. And I know the joke's been made 1,000 times of why are you paying somebody to cut your jeans? But I never got that. I never got the whole let's slash the knees of your jeans or anything. It's like I don't just put the jeans on. I don't need all the other stuff involved.
Yeah, I don't never understood slashing. Also, maybe because I remember, and maybe it's just where we were growing up, the patches my mother would buy, the iron-on patches to fix the knees or other spots so that the jeans would keep lasting that much longer.
Right.
And I know you can still buy those things. I just questioned out there who's, because it was always even though I had them, I could see the socioeconomics of, oh, they've got patches on the knees of their pants.
Right.
They must be poor.
Right.
Just get new pants.
Right. Right. No, but it's not wrong. I mean,
no.
I remember my mom would get mad because there's nothing better than like we had carpeting in our elementary school. They had an area called the pod, which is where they would have if you went out and they were going to show you Sesame Street or the Electric Company or whatever, and they bring all the first and second graders and put them in the pod and they'd show whatever on TV or whatever they were doing. Or when we were in GT, they did the stuff in the pod. Well, it had this like real thin, basically durable carpet because you're in a school. So everybody's going to be walking across it. there's nothing better than like running and then sliding in your jeans across the carpet. But it would take threads. My mom would get so mad because I'd come home and she could tell. She's like, "You were sliding in the pot again, weren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." You can't do that because you're gonna put holes in your jeans. And yeah, you could see where it start to thin the knees of your jeans, and she would get so mad about ruining the jeans too soon. So,
well, and I don't know if the cycle has changed, but it was a little bit of Christmas, but your big clothing shopping spree was always right before school.
Yes.
Right? We weren't buying clothes year round, maybe a different time, maybe where we were financially, but those were your school clothes, and those essentially had to last you at least until the next summer, right?
Right.
We weren't buying more clothes. We weren't just, oh, I saw this on sale today and got this for you. Maybe again, I don't know about you, lived in a different world. So yeah, that's why I said I remember patches on my jeans and my mother hand sewing some certain things on shirts because we weren't getting new stuff till later on. We weren't just, oh, you ruined that shirt. Let's go to Walmart and buy another one.
Yeah. Well, no, the same thing. And again, I mean, I grew up in Northern Virginia, but probably same as far as socioeconomical, probably about the same thing because you can't ruin these jeans because again, mom or grandmother, if she was in town, was going to patch them and you didn't want the patch. I can remember even trying to be like, can't you put the patch on the inside? Like, wouldn't that make more sense? And you could, but you could still tell it was patched.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter. So yeah, that was the conversation all the time is you can't, if you don't want the patches, then don't go sliding around and ruining your jeans. So that was just the thing. And then once you did, those became your basically backyard football clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Until you got the new stuff, then those got relegated to secondary status. For us, it was backyard football, or we used a lot of wood, so we'd go cut wood in the woods to bring it home. So that was the wood cutting jeans.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they got relegated, just like a good soccer team, a bad soccer team.
Exactly. Stuff gets moved down, gets moved up, whatever it may be. All right, another one. And I know we're jumping around a lot today, but we're kind of sticking music wise.
Yeah.
How about this? We talked about Debbie Gibson. Again, she was our age, so I don't think it's weird if you had a crush on Debbie Gibson when we were in high school, because again, she was right there in high school with us. Now, did you have a crush on any of the older singers, like perhaps this one who turned 68 this week, looking as good as ever? Belinda Carlisle of the Go-Go's is 68.
Wow. Just making us feel old today, right?
I know. Well, I mean, how do you think she feels? She's 68.
Yeah. Now she looks I will admit, when I saw her, I was blown away. There was something about her eyes, something about her look. And I always said this, it was very, and you may or not understand this, she was like cat-like. There was something about her eyes.
I get that
just made you go, oh, hello. Especially, at that time of life for a young male, like, it was just, oh my goodness, you are just exquisitely different than, girls that I went to school with. She just had that different, amazing look.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a big crush on her.
Well,
one of many, right?
Exactly. You also have to remember too with her is, as you said, so we're, let's see, they hit in what, 82, 83, probably. I think we got the beat was probably 82-ish. But by the time she was doing solo stuff, it was like 86, 87, 88, right around in there. So yeah, you're talking about us being 13, 12, 13 up to like 17, and she's in her mid to late 20s at that point. So as weird as that may sound, it was like, yeah, this is not the girls walking in the hall at your high school.
Yes.
That wasn't it. So yeah, I remember when she was on her first solo tour, she made a stop at Meriwether Post.
Okay.
Right. So my friend Dan Morey and I got tickets. We were like 5th or 6th row. Like somehow I think his dad knew somebody. I don't remember how it was, but we had really good seats to see Belinda Carlisle. Of course, he's a couple years younger than me, but we both had monster crushes on her. I think I was 17 at the time because I drove. He and I went, and if you remember, Meriwether Post is in Columbia, Maryland. It's a drive.
Away.
It's a hike. It's a hike.
Yeah.
From where we were in Virginia. But if you remember, Columbia Mall is right across the street from Meriwether Post. Okay. So everybody always went to Columbia Mall to grab a bite before you'd go to the concert. So we're like, oh, hey, we're a couple of swinging cool high school kids going to see Belinda Carlisle
out on the town.
Let's go to Columbia Mall and we'll grab a bite to eat before we go see Belinda. So we get out there early. Of course, my parents like, if you're going to go, yes, but leave early because it was during the middle of the week. It was on the weekend. I do remember that. And they were like, you're going to need to leave early because you don't understand what traffic's going to be like. So you need to leave like whatever time it was. And we're like, wow, we're gonna be killing a ton of time in the mall, but okay. Good call by them because again, traffic was not great even at that time, however many years ago it was, almost 40 years ago. We're driving through, they have the parking lot to your left, the mall's to your right. So you're driving on that little road between the parking lot and the mall, like the access road, as we're going to figure out where we're gonna park. And I stopped because there are people that are getting ready to cross in front of us to go into the mall. And I like stopped the car and I'm like, all right, let them go by. And then like they got halfway in front of the car and my buddy goes, holy, that's Belinda Carlisle. And I was like, what? And I mean, it happened so fast that we didn't even think to like roll down the window and say hi or quick park. And she just waved for us stopping and kept right on going. I'm telling you, at that point, that was the most spectacular thing that ever happened in my life.
So she have an entourage with her, or just
I think it was just 2 or 3 of her, maybe like backup singers or something. There was no
free ranging.
Yeah, it was just there was 3 of them. I just remember it was 3 women. There wasn't like a bodyguard with them or anything, and they were walking from the parking lot. So I don't know if they came from. Again, you could walk from Meriwether over to the Columbia Mall. So I don't know if they like were just like, oh, we're here early. I need to pick up, who knows? I need to grab makeup or who knows what it was. But they walked right in front of us. And again, we were talking and I go, oh, I'm going to stop for these people. I don't want to be rude. And then they walk in front of us. And I was like, it's just 3. I mean, again, you're like, okay, 20-something-year-old, they're pretty good looking. And my buddy goes, oh my God. And he cursed and he goes, that's Belinda Carlisle. And I don't know if he said it loud enough because again, the windows are up. It's summertime. We had the AC on. I don't know if he said it loud enough that she heard it or if she was just acknowledging that we had stopped, but that's when she kind of looked up and smiled and waved and just kept walking. And I was like, what are we like? Why didn't we like jump out of the car and get like an autograph or something? We didn't no cell phones. We're going to get a selfie then, but I was like, wow, we totally blew that.
Just put hello.
I know. Yeah, right. Hi, we're 17.
Now the question I have, just because was it someone who, because kind of like the Madonna thing, was it someone who dressed and look like the part who had been attending the concert, but it was definitely her?
Oh no, it was no questions at all that it was definitely her. Yeah, no. It wasn't somebody dressed up and wearing the Belinda Carlisle t-shirt. I mean, again, her and what I'm assuming was her 2 backup singers or band people, whatever, they all looked like they would have been, I'm going to say housewives, but just, regular 20-somethings going to the mall, heading in, but they looked way different than any other woman you would see in Columbia, Maryland. And if you know the area and you know Columbia, Maryland, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They did not look like they were from Columbia, Maryland.
So should we try here? Can we get her on and then you can bring up that story?
No, there's no chance.
I saw you walking.
No, there's no chance we could ever get Belinda Carlisle to come on this show. I mean, I'll try to reach out to him and see. I don't know what her management group is like. I think she's living in Mexico now.
Oh my!
She's got a whole thing. She just released an album last year, It's
In
not bad. I
Spanish?
listened. No, it's not. She did do one in French a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
She was living in the Philippines at one point. Like, she's done the whole "I'm not a rock star" thing anymore.
I'm artsy.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So once the Go-Go's stopped, and I saw her in 80, I guess that would have been 87, 88, right around in there. I saw the Go-Go's with Ocean Blue down at DAR Constitution. I've seen probably the Go-Go's three or four times. Anytime they did a reunion tour, I would try to go. So I've seen her quite a few times in concert, and then, they stop making music, they break up. She's still doing solo stuff. It's not my bag, but again, she's still got an amazing voice. I mean, she can sing like crazy. But yeah, so that was my best celebrity story until we've told the Sinatra story on here before. So you can go look that one up. That was the number one. I'm like, I didn't speak to her, but she waved to me as she walked in front of my car. Best celebrity story I had until meeting Frank Sinatra. I guess that would have been 4 or 5 years later. So yeah.
Nice.
And see, I can't top any of yours because you met hundreds of people when you were working at the radio station, right? I mean, it's like pretty much every week for you.
Yeah. I mean, I went through this the other day, going through some things, and I was seeing pictures and stuff that I have from all those times. And to think about how lucky I was, and that's where it came back to. I was like, how lucky was I to start in radio at 17 years old in high school, go through college, pretty much the decade after college, and be involved to the level I was, the people I met, the things I did, just a random kid from the middle of nowhere, Virginia.
Yeah.
I started to go, well, that was pretty amazing. What, just the people I met, things I was able to do. And it just kind of hit me, middle-age reflection, I guess. Like, wow, It wasn't that, and I'm not busting on anyone who did this, but it wasn't, oh, I worked at the mall and I worked at this and I did just what I would consider for more normal jobs, that I was very lucky for starting at age 17 all the way up till about 2000 when I got out of the industry, just how lucky I was and what I was able to do. I mean, it was just fascinating to kind of think back, like, wow. Because I was working with a 20-year-old at work, and they were talking about, growing up here in Maine and what they wanted to do. And it just kind of, wow, you just going to have a different experience in life than I did. And that's just geography and interest and everything else. It was, like I said, it was pure luck. And that's why it was just like, wow, how lucky was I to be able to do all that I did in that time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I different aspect, because I wasn't on the music side of it. I've been fortunate enough in doing sports stuff that I've met a bunch of athletes in that regard.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm not going to say it's a different thing, but I don't know. Maybe I have more. I'm not awed by celebrity. There's only been 2 people that I've ever been completely awed by in meeting them, and neither one of them were athletes. Like I when I worked for the Ravens up in Baltimore, we did the Wednesday night show with the Dallas Thomas, who was the linebacker for them, really good linebacker. In fact, if it wasn't for Ray Lewis, he's the one that everybody would remember because he was really good, but he also played with Ray Lewis. So I've met Ray Lewis. I've met Deion Sanders. But it was just doing your job. So It wasn't like that big of it was like the job. So you don't really stop and think, wow, there's not too many people that are going to be able to sit across from Ray Lewis and have a, 10, 15-minute conversation with him. And, it's just another day. Like that's kind of what it was. And so sometimes I look at it and go, man, I probably should have appreciated that more at the time, but there's no big deal. But meeting Frank Sinatra, again, just overwhelmed, because at that point, other than Belinda waving to me, I never met anybody. That was the first actual real, honest to God, like over the top celebrity that I'd ever met. Because we had bands come through the college radio station, and we ignored a couple of them. The Spin Doctors.
The Spin Doctors.
So we had met a couple of semi-famous people, at Mason days and stuff like that. So it's, whatever. But Sinatra was like, this was like, oh my God, because you and I both kind of were like, knew if you had, Sinatra, you'd be like, oh, I understand the significance of this. I think that was more what it was, is like, he's not me. Like I'm not sitting around listening to Sinatra and throwing him up and on the, the ox cord or whatever the kids say today. But, but you understood, like, this guy is like
an icon,
20th century. Yeah. Like, no doubt. And then the other one, and again, at the time, I didn't even think about it. Don't even have a good picture with him, was Bill Murray. I've met Bill Murray on a couple different occasions, but the first time when we were down in Charleston at the Charleston Classic, and he came and did halftime with me. I mean, if you go to my X page, at Bill Rowland on X, on Twitter, that's the background. That's the picture, is me sitting there. It's my big bald head, and then Bill Murray sitting there courtside doing halftime with me. That's the only other guy that I was like, I can't believe I just met Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And then the second time, I guess it would have been the third time, actually, when he came to Mason, and they had set him in the back in like the media room, because, he didn't want to be out front and he'd get swarmed by everybody if he's just sitting out there, 20 minutes before the game. I remember walking in, and he looked just like a normal dude, like just some other reporter sitting there. And there were two young kids that worked in the sports information office that were there used to be, it's a different spot from where it is now, but it used to be like the game notes and other stuff were in one side, and then across the hallway, you probably remember this, across the hallway is where they did the media room, where they would have the food. Usually it was just like pizza or something and drinks. And that's where everybody kind of hung out before the games, if you were doing media stuff. So he's in that room, just kind of hanging out, whatever. And I walk in, there are two, SID interns or whatever, and they're chatting. So I say hi to them, they leave. And then, so it's just me and him in the room. So I said, Mr. Murray, I don't know if you remember, we met down at College of Charleston, the Charleston Classic. He looks like, oh, yeah. Good to see you again. All that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I hope they were, nice to you. Like, they didn't bother you or anything. And he's like, they didn't even speak to me. And I was like, okay, well, that's I'm thinking that's kind of rude and dumb. But I was like, if you want any pizza or anything, and he's like, no, I got my drink. I'm good. I'm like, okay. So then talking a little bit more. And I was like, all right, well, if you need anything, I got to get my stuff and get ready to go, call the game or whatever. Have fun tonight. If you need anything, let us know. He's like, yeah, great. So I walk across, and the two kids are still over in there, like sorting game notes, whatever they're doing. And I was like, do you guys know the older gentleman in the media room? And they're like, no, he was just sitting there. He didn't say anything. Yeah, they had no idea. and I was like, you guys didn't recognize him at all? And they're like, no, it's the first time he's been here. And I'm like, yeah, that's Bill Murray. Nothing. No acknowledgement, nothing. And I was like, Bill Murray. And I started doing like, Caddyshack, Ghostbusters. And they were just like, again, like
too young.
Yeah. And so I finally went Space Jam. And the one guy's like, oh yeah, I was like, that's the guy, not Jordan. That's the other guy and he's like, it is. And I was like, don't go bother him. I was like, just
not now.
I was like, I can't believe you guys didn't. I was like, I can't believe you guys didn't know. And they're like, hey, it just looks like some guy. And I'm like, all right. So, but he was the only other guy that I was like awed by. Like, I can't believe I'm sitting here and I get to talk to Bill Murray.
Yeah. Well, not an awe thing. Like you said, I was on the music entertainment side. You were involved in sports, the Wizards and the Ravens. And to me, that was, as someone observing you, was like, man, the magic you get to see as part of your job, right? You're involved in these live sports events at high level. You're covering them. You're talking about it. You're meeting these athletes, and not to be in awe by it, but just the mix of people you were around, during your career is just as amazing to me as for you looking at the people I met going, wow, you got to meet just, and again, for both of us, we're very lucky, early on, you lasted longer than I did, of what we were able to do and accomplish and meet and be involved with in our 20s right after college is just amazing for compared to most people. And that was the point I was trying to make earlier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no doubt. I think about the number of people that I met before I turned 40, let's say. And there are people that would never touch that in a lifetime. And again, very fortunate in doing what we did and all that kind of stuff. But I wish at times, and I can't even think of somebody now who it would be like to be like, oh my gosh, if I met that person, that would be, I'd be awestruck or whatever. I can't think of anybody that it would be. Because you were still working with us at Westwood One when we went out to the President's Cup and we shook hands with Clinton. Were you with us for that?
No, I would.
Okay.
I had moved
you had
on
gone by then.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was the other thing. It's like, okay, I mean, fine. I mean, it wasn't like we had a meeting with him or anything. He was just walking down the line, and we were with the group that was like helping to put on. It was the first ever President's Cup I think they did. And he went down the line. Hey, it's good to see everybody. Doing that kind of thing. So, I was like, that's cool. I got to shake hands with the president. I mean, and not too many people get to do that, so that was fun. I met W's brother at the radio station one time. Trying to think. It's terrible. I can't remember his name. Oh shoot, not Jeb, the other one. It wasn't Jeb. It was their other brother. I can't remember his name now. But anyway, so you meet people like that, and we have a mutual friend in Dave Chrisman who's met a ton. I mean, he has pictures of him with W, with him and Obama. Like, he's met all the political people on that side. I don't know if there's anybody that I would just be completely in awe of at this point. And maybe that's weird. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. We come at it, I think, we're desensitized a bit to having had that where it's not an awe thing. For me, I would want to sit and pick someone's brain. Right. So, and it sounds simple, but I would want to sit down with an Elon Musk. I just want to understand, not because, oh my God, it's Elon Musk. It's this man has had success, whether you want to give him full credit or not. I want to just understand his mindset of how he goes about little things and what he does and doesn't do, and just kind of understanding from that perspective. Then, oh my God, I just met Elon Musk, and that, get overexcited just because of that. Like, that's what I want to do, is pick people's brains. I mean, one of the people I did meet, and it was pure, I don't even happenstance, for us radio people, was meeting Adrian Cronauer. From Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Why? Because his wife was the receptionist at the radio station I worked at. And he's just this simple little quiet guy that walks in. There was embellishments in the movie, but just talking to him about doing radio in that scenario back then and what he was trying to accomplish. And, again, understanding what he had done to make, I mean, he wasn't famous till the movie. No one would have heard about him, right? But just kind of understand, like, wow, what was it like doing radio then, and being told you couldn't say certain things, and, just getting that inside scoop, if you will, again, from a radio perspective at that point of, wow, this is kind of an icon of what we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy Zany. So,
yeah,
but like I said, it came back to, he goes, I was just trying to entertain some people. That's really what it was about.
I mean, that you boil it down, that's all it is for anybody. You're just trying to entertain people. So, I mean, that's cool though, because that's somebody that everybody knows. Of a certain age, everybody knows Good Morning Vietnam. Everybody knows that Robin Williams playing the character. That's just cool, because you go, how many people actually realize that it's not like he's famous, but it's still like he's a, I'm not gonna say historical figure, but he is a pop icon figure as far as like, hey, they did a movie based on you.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen to many people, that they have a movie based on you and you're just a regular dude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that was one, as I said, the more meaningful celebrity meetups, if you will, that I had, because again, even right now, 99% of the world would not even know that name, even care. But for us, we'd seen the movie earlier on, and then being radio junkies that you and I have been, like, oh my God, Adrian Cronauer, we get to, and just pick his brain for a bit of what it was like, what he did. So a little bit more deep and meaningful celebrity engagement there.
Absolutely. That's very cool. It was like, again, I never met him. He was, I've told the story about working for Dick Clark Productions the one time when I did a bunch of voice work for him. I never got to meet him. I saw him walk down and, gave the wave and everything. Wasn't as cool as Belinda Carlisle waving to me, but he's another guy that you just kind of go, that's Dick Clark. That's America's teenager. And he just waved to me. Like, that's, you just kind of go, that's kind of cool. I've had a few cool experiences, but I can't think of anybody that I just be like overwhelmed and been like, I cannot believe I just spoke to that person. I don't know who that would be right now. Even like, you think like Tom Cruise, like that wouldn't even faze me.
No.
If, for some reason you ran across, you'd be like, oh, hey, yeah, I like your movies. That'd be like the only conversation I'd have with him. Like, I don't know what else I'd ask because he's not going to talk to me about Scientology. So,
right. Well, and again, like I said, we are a bit desensitized to it. And I think, and I've mentioned this story before, I took a country artist, had to go pick him up at the club in Southern Maryland, bring him back to the station in DC and take him back. And he was a regular guy. Like, he's on the phone with his wife talking about the roof and this and that and the other.
Right.
And it really just kind of placed it of, yeah, you got a cool job, but you're still like the rest of us,
Right.
And someone said at one time, I can't remember the story of, oh no, it was an interview he did. Dave Grohl was talking about, I put on the bathrobe, go out and grab the paper like everybody else in the morning, get the kids ready for school, right? They are real people just like us.
Yeah.
But they just have cool jobs or cool specialties that make them special. Right.
And have way more money than us.
Well,
for the most part.
Yeah. There's a few out there with that way more money that do spectacular, weird things that, but on average, they're all just kind of normal people doing the same thing, right? This is my job,
Is there, when you go back, is there somebody, again, I'm not even talking about being awed by them, but is there somebody, whether it's music, whether it's act, like, is there somebody like, and I know you mentioned Musk, but I'm thinking further back, like Gen X type stuff. Is there anybody that you're like, I'd love to just have a conversation? Just love to pick that person's brain or ask them about this or.
Wow. You threw that one out there.
I know.
Nothing's jumping out at me right now that I'm like, oh my God, give me the list. Yeah. No, I got nothing for you at this moment. I can think about it.
That's fine. No.
But that's the same thing. It's like just nothing jumps out to me. Oh my God, that would be the best. I mean, the closest I think right now, but there's been so much written that I already kind of know his brain. I'd want to sit down with a Warren Buffett.
Oh, yeah.
Just again, pick your brain. How did you start? But it's all out there. It's that one's not hidden. He's told the story numerous times, and you can follow what he and Munger did. So it's like, okay. I read the book. Don't need to meet you. Thanks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I think it'd be interesting. And again, this is kind of probably on the geeky side of things, and person's no longer around, I don't believe. Would be to talk to some of these like game show hosts, to talk to a Bob Barker or to talk to a Bob Eubanks or somebody like that, and just be like, now it's you've got so many different things with YouTube and all these different places that everybody can become a celebrity for 15 minutes. How did you go from being like just I don't mean it in an intelligence way, but just like a dumb disc jockey to all of a sudden being one of the nation's most beloved game show? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
And most of it, when you read the bios and you'd have to talk to them, is just like dumb luck. Like, I just happen to be a DJ in California, and the producer's like, hey, do you want to come try to do this thing? Sure, I'll do that. And then it turns into this big giant thing. I mean, it's like amazing.
Yeah. And I would say that's, obviously back then it was radio into television, and now it's, and it's all scrabbled now because
Yep.
it's YouTube. You can be famous on YouTube and all that, but I think the wiring of people, we had it, they had it, of radio, like, oh, you want me to do that? Okay. All right.
Right.
I'll
Right.
try it.
Yep.
Well, okay, let's do it. Right.
Yeah.
It's just a thing, like, okay. And it works, for some, it worked out to be huge career changes and success for them. So
yeah, pretty crazy. Right before we go, because we're at an hour.
Okay.
Do want to say a fond farewell. Frank Beard, ZZ Top, passed away earlier this week. That, of course, is the iconic Eliminator album cover, the 1930-ish. I think, is it a 33 Ford? I don't remember exactly what that car is, but we talked about it when we did the 45th anniversary of MTV show a couple weeks ago. They made themselves with MTV. It was a perfect marriage because they had some songs that were popular prior to LaGrange, Tush, Cheap Sunglasses. But when they figured out videos,
yes,
that's when it went crazy for them.
Yep, well known that they were a 70s rock and blues band out of Texas, and they had some zany looking costumes and just kind of did their thing. And between them, their management that said, hey, look, this video thing is going to be good. They altered themselves, right? They came up with some looks, and then it got changed a bit when they started doing the video. But they kind of leaned into, we need to be visually different to make a mark here with MTV and what's going on in culture and society. And that's where you get the sunglasses and the extra, they had beards, but now they were extra long, the dusters,
the duster jacket. Yep.
Yeah. They went for, the spinning guitars. They went for a look and a dynamic that was going to play well into the MTV and the video world that kind of got sprung on all of us back then.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks. Billy Gibson, I think, is the only one left now.
Yeah.
Of the originals. And you said they were going to be up in your area, right?
They're due here in like 2 weeks with George Thorogood opening. So,
my God, are you not going to that show?
I am not going because I am scheduled.
You just saw Thorogood recently, right?
I saw Thorogood in DC. Yeah,
that's right. But ZZ Top was not with them at that point. Okay,
nope, I was standalone. So yeah, I was going to, and I was just like, oh. Somehow, I mean, I'm just the guy. I get scheduled on the wrong days for a lot of these shows because I have been making a point. I want to go see some of these acts before it's over.
Right.
Another one I'm considering. It's a Tuesday night here in the next 2 weeks. Get ready for this. Air Supply. Right?
All right.
Why? They've got a decent catalog, and like I said, I just want to see some of these acts before it's over, before it's done.
Yeah, I was never a big Air Supply guy, but if the price was right, I would go. Yeah, absolutely. See, the difference is up there in Maine, the price is probably right. These people come around here, you're talking about a $75, $100 ticket in some of the instances, and no offense, I'm not dropping $100 on Air Supply.
Yeah, I think it was only 50 or 60 to go see him, and it's at the small club in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire.
There you go.
So that's what I'm considering, but it doesn't work your favor because Cyndi Lauper, I think it was a year ago. Yeah, we were doing the show. If you want to go see her here in Boston, it was $200, $300, $400 a seat.
Boston, yes.
I flew into DC and we went to, what is it? Not the MCI Center, whatever it is now.
Capital One
Arena. Yeah, $60.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on where we can get into a whole other show about the dynamic ticket pricing and all that stuff. Yeah. It's outrageous. I look back at some of my were you a ticket stub guy? Did you keep ticket stubs?
No.
Okay. See, I have a bunch of them and you know what? Oh, I got to get to my mom's house and see if I can find it. I'd love to know how much I paid to see Belinda Carlisle at Meriwether Post if I still have that ticket. I'll have to look and see if I can find it.
Probably $10.
Well, that's the thing. I look back at some of my early Jimmy Buffett shows because I was going to see Buffett. I think the first time I went to see Buffett was maybe 88 or 89 or something like that. And it was, I'm not kidding, it might have been an $8 lawn ticket.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, oh my gosh, it can't even, you couldn't touch that it was probably $75 the last time that he toured before he passed away for a lawn seat. And it was $8 back in the day. Crazy. Anyway, all right. Good show. That was fun. I mean, I hate to end it on a down note with Frank Beard, but we had to mention it because, again, they were a legend for the 1980s for MTV and everything else. So, go listen to some ZZ Top today, maybe throw in a little Go-Go's and some Debbie Gibson and, cover all the bases there. And make sure you get your Columbia tape thing sent back because they're going out of business in September. So if you want those CDs,
get them now.
You got to go get them now. So any parting thoughts before we go?
I was going to say about Columbia House, we didn't know it was all about the memories. We thought we were just picking 12 cool albums.
This concludes this episode of Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhite. Gen X Men is now off the air.